Yo, Thought Warriors. What is up? Her Learning is on. Is I, Van Lathan Jr.
And it's me, Rachel and Lindsay.
Big show today. Big show. A lot of stuff happening, man. Stuff happening everywhere. We're excited.
Are you excited? See, it's a big show, but I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, but you have to be excited to put your spin on stuff. I'm back in New York on Abby's show next week.
Mm-hmm.
Went down on Abby's show last night. We're going to talk about it as far as it relates to a topic that we're doing. Let me ask you a question. To you, what makes you Southern? Culturally, is there a cultural thing? Forget about geography for a second. Is there a cultural thing that makes you Southern?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was going to say first, obviously being born there, but I think being born there makes you a part of the culture. It's the music. It's the way you dress. I don't have the accent, but it's the way people talk.
Yeah.
There's a lingo. We understand each other. Specific restaurants. Like if I say I'm from Dallas, I eat Rudy's. I go on I go to Big T on Sundays to catch cuties. You know what that means. You know who says that. You know the places that I'm talking about. That makes me, it doesn't just make me Southern, it makes me from Dallas.
Yeah.
It's a culture.
I think I figured something out, or I have a take. One thing, and there are many things, one thing that makes you distinctly Southern is whether or not you'll eat in front of somebody and not offer them any food.
That's a Southern trait to you? I wholeheartedly disagree.
I personally think that since I've left the South, I've seen more people that are willing to eat a meal and not offer you any.
Oh.
Or not offer to cook you some, or not set another plate than I've ever experienced. If you're in the South,
I heard it the opposite way. Yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
That's how you do it. But if you're in the South and we cooking up some red beans, not only are we gonna make you some red beans, we're gonna be offended if you don't try our red beans. We're gonna be like, hey man, we done made some red beans over here, some white beans. People talk about the red beans from Louisiana, but they don't talk about the white beans. I'll miss some motherfucking white beans. They're gonna be like, hey, we made some white beans. It's like, you want some white beans? Like, nah, man, I'm cool. Fuck you mean? I said we got some white beans in here, man. Some white beans, some motherfucking, it's got some meat in there. Like, we got some white beans. You want some white beans? Like, nah, man, I'm not hungry. Bitch, why you don't want to eat with us? Why you don't want no white beans? What's with you that you don't want no white beans?
It's a Southern thing for sure.
And meanwhile, niggas out here, you go to their crib, not that you want the food, but they cooking the shit up, like, but whatever they eat, they look at you, they'll fucking eat the chicken or whatever they doing while they playing the game with you. And not be like, yeah, not at all.
I've never experienced that, but it is a Southern thing to offer. Kalika came over last night. I cooked in front of her. I said, would you like for me to make you a plate? She said, no, thank you. I didn't get offended, but...
Pork base. It's good. Pork base.
It was pork base. Fine, whatever. I didn't get offended, but my point is, I would never cook in front of her and not say, would you like for me to make you a plate? I cooked enough for two, is my point. That's Southern. You're right.
A lot of people are starting to have concerns about you with the pork-based diet and how far it's going.
People are fine. I hadn't had a pork chop actually in a while. That was the first time I had a pork chop in a while.
But you ate Old Bacon on the show maybe like last week.
It wasn't Old Bacon.
That
was an exaggeration.
We
don't need to do this.
When the bacon starts to...
It didn't do that.
Congealing.
That's because of how I had it in the plastic bag.
It was congealing. The bacon was congealing.
It was good. I was fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm just like toughened up to it, but I was fine.
Yeah, your body is used to the pork. You've greased yourself for the pork. All right. Shout out to all my people from the South. Shout out to people that are not from the South, because there are other things that they are better at, you know? Like I don't get into that. I've talked about something that I feel like the South is better than as far as the sharing of foods and things like that. But then people out here and people in other places, there's stuff that they do better than us.
Like what?
I'm going to save it because I want to let it marinate and I don't want to piss off my Southerners. But there are things.
Just give me one.
kind of feel like people in these coastal cities are a little bit more cooperative. They might not feed you, but it, they have things that they do that parts of the South to me are really about exclusivity. Like we huddle together for survival, we huddle together for all kinds of stuff. So like when I'm out in LA and I mean, it's just more diverse. Places are more diverse. When I'm out in LA or New York, whatever, you see all different types of people, different types of cultures sharing space, and nobody's really asking any questions.
So the South is segregated.
Of course, it's segregated. LA is ruthlessly segregated, but LA is by far the most segregated place I've ever lived.
Milwaukee.
Is LA is so much more segregated than Baton Rouge. It's not even close.
Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the most segregated city I've ever been in.
You can exist in some of the places I exist out here in Los Angeles and not see other Black people. And then you can go to the places in Los Angeles when you want to commune and be a part of your Black people and see only them, right? So like there are Black communities in Baton Rouge. Of course, there are Black spots in Baton Rouge, and then there are places where there are not as many Black people. But if you walk around Baton Rouge, if you in the mall, you're going to see lots of Black people and white people going to the same places. It's just more, but in LA, no. There's a part of Los Angeles that to me is distinctly Black that you must go seek out if you want to live in community with Black people. And then there are parts of Los Angeles that people consider to be Los Angeles, that people go, oh my God, blah, 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 where there's just not any Black people. There are no Black people there. And you can build community with Black people. I love Los Angeles, but when you want is a completely different experience to exist and move around in Black Los Angeles than it is the Los Angeles that people come out here to be a part of. It's just two completely distinctly different things. And Baton Rouge, which is where I'm from, let's be honest with you, the city is 55% Black. It's just impossible to get rid of the niggas as much as you can in LA, which is like 7% Black or 8% Black or something like that. But maybe that's the reason why you go places, there's a lot more diversity, a lot more inclusivity, and people are like willing to tolerate different lifestyles.
Oh, tolerate.
They are.
Oh, whoa.
I'm just being for real. They won't feed you though. Donnie, first topic.
First topic, National Guard. Troops began deploying in D.C. on Tuesday night as Trump's plan for the city is beginning to take shape. Army officials said that troops are continuing to gather at the D.C. Armory and are expected to deploy around national monuments and near a U.S. Park Police facility in the Anacostia neighborhood, which, speaking of Black population, has a 92% Black population.
Wow.
Coincidence?
Oh, no, I believe I called this when I was on CNN talking to all the guys up there, and I said when the law enforcement surge starts in D.C., that there will be a cost.
At least 66 people have been arrested in Washington since Monday. This is according to federal officials. And a federal task force, which includes local officers, also made 23 arrests on Monday night. This is in connection to a different range of crimes. And we've seen videos of officers patrolling neighborhoods and harassing folks. And like they're out there doing stops and whatnot.
I think the question that people have in addition, I don't think anybody is surprised at the neighborhoods that are being targeted, the people that have been arrested, or the exaggeration by Trump of crime, the level of crime that is not technically there. I think the question is that people have is, can he do this and for how long can he do this? And if he can do it, and if it is limited for a certain amount of time, will he go past that, which is in line with the way that Trump is? Trump has 30 days to do this, right? Under the Home Rule Act. So it's called the Home Rule Act. He has 30 days where he can deploy the National Guard and continue in this way. After 30 days, he's supposed to stop. The question is, do we think that he will stop or will he continue?
Depends. I mean, there's no way to know. It's all for show anyway, so it
Correct.
doesn't really matter. There's no way to know. Like I think there's something a little bit deeper to it in terms of its cultural ramifications, but he's shown that he will defy the courts or defy the law. I mean, we could list the amount of the Constitution of parts of the Constitution that he is amendments to the Constitution, 14th Amendment, Fifth Amendment, all different types of amendments that Donald Trump has directly violated to me, right? So I don't know whether or not he'll stop or not. I know that he'll continue to do it if he wants to do it because he has a mandate from the people that he has captured, and whether or not he breaks the law or doesn't break the law, they're going to be okay with it.
Well, I guess for me, it's important to talk about because you're right. We've seen him continue to push his power to as far as he wants to do it. And I could see him calling on Congress to repeal this act. So then he has complete authority. Then under the Home Rule Act, the citizens of Washington, D.C. will lose the right to elect their officials at the same time. And he can continue his reign of deploying the National Guard and FBI and Metropolitan Police and whoever else he wants. And I think that he'll use D.C. If he does take those measures, he'll use D.C. as an example of how he wants to go, as he's already teased, which he can't, they're governed in different ways, the other cities, but that he teased he will then go and conquer, it's really the right word to use, try to conquer other cities.
Repealing the act is not going to happen. Like
It'll be hard to do. Yeah, he's got to have 60 senators to do it.
That would take. That's not going to happen. But it's just too hard. As a matter of fact, the fact that doing stuff like that is so difficult now is probably not a good thing, because we can't make the necessary change to American life because we don't have the type of mandates politically that we need to do that. So he's not going to be able to repeal the act. There's a cultural component here that I think really matters. Number one, I would say that if Donald Trump is going to do this and he's going to be serious about doing this, don't just pick on D.C. If you're going to take places over, there's a lot of places Donald Trump would have to take over, a lot of states. If you look at it, the highest homicide rates right now in America are in Mississippi, Louisiana. Damn, man, we still haven't put the guns down. And Alabama. Huge swaths of the South, if you look at the highest homicide rates, the highest violent crime rates in the country, there's no doubt about the fact that those places exist in the South. And those governments and those governors that are supporting Donald Trump in doing this, they're saying, rah, rah, President Trump, go ahead and do it. Well, what you need to realize is, Huckabee in Arkansas, and that your state is a particularly violent place because of the poverty there, because of the access to guns there, because of the fact that you don't have access to mental health facilities or all of the things that create violent crime, right? They exist right now disproportionately in the South. And those states are the states that if we were actually serious about, or if the far right, if they were serious about, we have to take over and pour resources into it and surge, they would be surging in rural parts of Alabama where people are killing each other, in Louisiana and places like that where people are killing each other, but it's not really about crime.
Right.
It's not about crime. It's about the president's ability to, number one, get people off of the story that he doesn't want to talk about, which is, of course, the Epstein thing that they conjured and made into an entire part of their personality and then have refused to give the American people real answers are. And the idea that Trump is tough on crime, which is a part of the evangelism that comes from the right.
I guess when I think of it, you're right about the cultural impact. So you're right in what you're saying, obviously, about you're giving the numbers. And if Trump was actually serious about the numbers and what he's saying, then he would target the places that have the highest crime. But he's not. He is stoking fears, which has a history of doing, and particularly towards a particular group of people. And it reminds me of when, in post-Reconstruction, when Black people were successful and they were doing their things and, building their businesses and building their communities and building these towns and establishing and creating their own wealth and legacy. And what did they start doing? White people started fear-mongering. They started taking ads out in papers and uh, uh, talking about Black people as if they were not humans, comparing them to animals, comparing them to monsters. You need to be scared of them. They will terrorize you. They will capture your women and children. That is literally what it seems like they're doing as far as deploying the National Guard in DC, particularly targeting Black neighborhoods. Yes, it's about power. Yes, it's about control. Yes, it's about distraction. But to me, I look at it and it's also, I'm going after, and we're seeing right-wing conservatives take this narrative and run with it in an extreme way, making Black people, Black neighborhoods dangerous. These people are dangerous. They will hurt you. We must stop it now. If you and Trump is going to be the savior and be the one to make it happen. That's what I also see as well. And that's where you're right, the cultural impact is important to point out, because if he does go on to other cities and try to do the same thing, it will be making Black people look like dangerous, criminal animals, very much so what they did back in the 19th century.
Okay, we should say something that Trump definitely has special privileges that he can use because Washington, D.C. So he's not going to be able to do this, at least he doesn't seem to be able to do this in the same way in other places that he would be able to do it.
Right, they have the Home Rule Act.
They have the Home Rule Act. Rachel was just talking about that. But I'm saying if it really was about crime, then there are places where crime is rampant, and the quote unquote big American cities or bigger American states, it's not really where that's happening. That might be the places where these pockets of crime get the most attention because of a cultural element to it. Like, you know what I mean? There's no vein of music or genre of music that's talking about the crime in Alabama, right? So you don't have to contend with it as much because it doesn't really leave that state.
Yeah.
But if you were talking about the South Side of Chicago, then you're talking about a city that in its downtown and other areas looks super beautiful, but then there is literally a whole genre of music and a whole culture that tells the story of the violence in Chicago, and it's backed up by millions and millions of dollars for record companies. So people go, oh my God, like these kids are the worst. These are the demons and all of that. I'm not saying that these places don't have problems. I'm not saying that these places a lot of times don't have this really, particularly in some of the gang stuff that we would see around drill music. It's just like devastating nihilism and this sort of surrender to the idea of being dead at 23, 24, or 25 if you live that long, and this odd relationship to human life where it is like playing a video game. There are a lot of things that go into that, and there are a lot of solutions to that. I would argue that more cops surging the streets, potentially creating victims out of American citizens, is not the answer to that. I'll also tell you something else. Anyone who is telling you that you are living in this unprecedented era of American crime is just simply lying. There's nothing, guys, like, listen, I know the listeners of our podcast know this, but it's very important to contextualize this. It's just not true. Let's take DC, for example. Like, DC last year or experienced a 31% drop in homicides. A 31% drop in homicides. A 53% drop in carjackings. Now, I'm going to be honest about something. That is from 2023, where there was a spike. So when you say that this number is way below the year prior, there are people that come back and say, well, you know, they're comparing that number to the spike in 2023, where DC experienced a 20-year high in homicides and carjackings, right? So they're going to go, that doesn't really count because you're comparing it to one of the biggest numbers, and that number was atypical. So the drop is also atypical. What if I grant you that? Cool. So let's not compare DC to a year and it's near past. Let's go back a generation. Let's go back to 1995.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 2024, DC had 187 homicides, right? An estimated 450 carjackings because they didn't make the numbers readily available. But in 2023, it was 959. With the drop, you're looking at around 450. If you went to 1995, DC experienced 360 homicides. And guess what? That number was down. That number was down from 482 homicides in 91 and 443 homicides in 92, right? DC, the numbers in the early 90s, 443 homicides in 92, 454 homicides in 93, 399 homicides in 94, 360 homicides in 1995. The violent crime rate in Washington, D.C. dropped from 1995 to 2018 by 62.5%. 62.5%. Property crime in that same time dropped by 54%. What I am telling you guys is you are living right now, wherever you are, if you're in America, wherever you are, if you're in America, you're living right now in the safest time in America in 50, 60, 70 years easily. Easily. Well, let me not say 50, 60, 70 years because I didn't go back that far. But you're living in the safest time definitely in 50 years. Definitely in 50 years. I realize that for people that are living in specific places, it doesn't feel like that. Because when I go to Baton Rouge and I'm around in Baton Rouge, the people in Baton Rouge are afraid of the same crime element that they were afraid of when I was there. I get that. So I'm not going to use these stats and these numbers to speak to anybody's personal experience or their relationship with the dysfunction that they see in their communities. I am saying, though, that when someone tells you that you're living in a lawless country where there is death, destruction, and property theft lurking around every corner, they're lying, and they're telling you that for a reason. And most of the reason that they're telling you that is because it is a trope as old as time that a lot of people in countries and civilizations anywhere are willing to trade freedom for security. There are a whole group of people that are willing to say that we don't mind if there's a soldier at the end of every block if that means that we're a little safer. The first thing you have to do to tap into a person like that is to convince them that they're unsafe, even when they're really not. That allows people to grab power, to consolidate power, to do things, to overreach, to all kinds of shit, no matter what it is. So a part of the lie of Washington, D.C. or any of these other places, a part of the lie is that Trump has to have more power to make you safer. And I'm telling you guys, despite what you're seeing, I saw a video this morning about, and it was a guy in Chicago, and he was live streaming. And while he was live streaming, somebody tried to steal his chain. And they killed him. Literally got him out of his car, unless this is set up or a skid in some kind of way. And you hear a pop, and you hear a car drive away, he's dead. He was live streaming, talking about something different, and you see the person comes up to the car. He goes, "What the fuck going on, bro?" Bro, he gets pulled out of the car. He gets out of the car. He says, "Hell nah," as in, "Hell nah, I'm not giving you my chain." You hear a gunshot. You hear a couple of other words, and then you hear a car peel out. Now, obviously, that could be a skit, but it doesn't seem like it is one, right? It doesn't seem like it is one. As human beings, when we see that type of stuff, we go, what kind of world are we living in?
Sure.
Right? When we see, some years ago here in LA, there was a guy named Indian Red Boy, and he was murdered on live stream. He was murdered on live stream. Now, I don't know what kind of shit that nigga was into or whatever. God rest his soul. And I don't know I'm not getting in the middle of the street shit that goes on in Inglewood or Hawthorne or none of that. I'm not getting them in. None of that. I have nothing to do with it. But when you see something like that, you go, shit, we're living in the end times, right? But the reality is our proximity to the visual performance of crime is changing how safe we feel. But in actuality, the data does not support anything that gets close to needing to send the military into an American city.
Let me ask you about this because it makes me think of when we would talk about the Democrats and we were like, the numbers are there, the facts are there, but the message isn't resonating with the people. It reminds me of what you're saying about crime. So the numbers are there. The numbers show that, to quote you, we are living in the safest time that we have in decades. Yet people don't feel safe, which I actually don't know if I really agree with that either. I think that that's a big exaggeration. I think there might be a group of people, particularly with that base, that feels like, hey, we're not safe and they're perpetuating this. But for the most part, I think if you polled what American citizens, what their biggest issues and concerns are, it would be the economy, inflation, unemployment, healthcare, the war. It would be that more than it would be crime. So I don't even think it's just a small group of people being very loud. So I don't know if it's there. But back to what I was originally saying, if there's this disconnect between the numbers, the facts, and how people feel, then how do you change it?
Well, so number one, you don't change it by, and so when I go, so I'm reading this right now, Public Perception versus Reality. A longstanding trend shows that Americans often believe national crime is rising, even when data indicates the opposite. In 23 of 27 Gallup surveys done since 1993, at least 60% of people had said that crime had increased over the prior year. And there are a couple of things that go into this. Number one, when I'm at home in Baton Rouge, there are definitely people who are scared of crime. They're like definitely Black people. Like I've talked to some, I'm not gonna out you because I had this conversation with you and I told you I wouldn't bring your name up. But when we were talking about defund the police, I go home to Baton Rouge and I'll talk to some older people that I know that I'm very close to. And they was like, stop saying that defund the police shit. They're like, we don't want to hear that. Like, we don't want to hear that defund the police shit. We need the cops around here because these little niggas is crazy. Right? Now, I'm not about to intellectualize with somebody like that. You know what I mean? I'm not about to sit down and go, hey, just to let you know, this is this and things used to be worse, because Baton Rouge definitely from the data is experiencing, or over the last couple of years, a drop in violent crime. It's for sure. Like obviously it spiked during COVID, but it's happening. But I do want to get into the reasons why they feel unsafe, because I think that's the way you address what it is that you're talking about. Forget about what the data says. Forget about what, why do you feel unsafe? What makes you think crime is rising? I think there are a couple of things that go into that. One are some very sticky laws that they feel like are soft on crime. Anytime people feel like candidates, elected officials, or governments are being soft on crime, then they automatically feel like crime is going up, because they feel like, well, if you've passed a law and that law is, I don't know, decriminalizing a certain drug, or if that law is a diversion program for a certain crime, right away that makes them feel unsafe, because it makes them feel like you're empowering people that seek to inject societies with dysfunction. You're empowering criminals. They're like, how are we going to be safe if you're not hard on the criminals? So in a lot of ways, for a lot of people who look at public safety as a punitive measure, they think the harder you are on criminals, the safer they are. When the reality is, the more you invest into communities, the safer they are. And they also, at the same time, when the cops run afoul of the law, go, my God, we're not safe from the criminals and we're not safe from the police. I think that there's going to be a ton of people now who are walking around less safe because the cops are looking for people to arrest and harass, right? So it's a mixed bag. The message has to be that not everything you see on the internet is real. There was just information that came out that was in Mashable and also in Forbes that says 75% of the traffic on Twitter is coming from bots.
That's crazy.
So there is so much, not even misinformation, not even disinformation, but there are so many conversations just that are completely algorithmic right here. How you reach people and make them understand that investment into people and investment into communities is the way to make communities wholer and safer. It's a tough thing. But I'm telling you, man, when I was doing this research into some of these Americans, you can go back in the 70s in New York and you're talking about north of 1,000 homicides. You're talking about like epic crime that's happening in the 70s and in the 80s. And some people might ask, well, why did the crime drop? There's a lot of different explanations. I am way on the fringe on this, and I believe that there is a drop in crime that is directly correlated to getting the lead out of our communities. Okay. I really believe that when you look at the prevalence of leaded gas and lead other places, I think there was lead in our communities, and we were essentially like the lead in the Roman aqueducts where they were chopping each other's fucking arms off and laughing, ha ha ha, champion. And I think we were kind of going through the same thing. That plus, the abundance of resources, some social change, all kinds of things that have happened, but the crime is going down. And if you think that the crime is to such a situation or such an epidemic proportion that the president has to send the military into American cities, you're just being lied to, man. It's just not true. And we'll see where this goes, but it's very, very, very disturbing that there's such a cheering section for this. And the ethnic cleansing that'll come along with it.
Exactly.
Like, last thing I'll say, as I've been typically hyper verbose on this, another reason why you should care about things that are happening internationally is because they're always being reflected in the places that you live. The ethnic cleansing that you might see in Gaza or in other places, it's connected in a global way, in a systemic way, to the ethnic cleansing that you experience here in America. Ethnic cleansing that you might be experiencing through urban renewal, ethnic cleansing that you might be experiencing through soft ethnic cleansing like gentrification, which that's what that is. And then the much more overt, violent ethnic cleansing through white terrorism that you saw in places like Rosewood and places like that. Like, that's really just getting the niggas out. Because remember, this is the playbook. The playbook is this. We can't control these niggas, so they have to leave. That is the playbook. The playbook is, like, to what you just said, Reconstruction, all of that, great points made by that. And the reality was, what those people were really against was sharing land with those black people. They didn't want them around. We cannot control them, and we don't want to cede any power or resources to them. They have to leave. That's the deal. And you're going to see that fucking Russian asset, alleged Russian asset, Beanie Johnson was talking about. Do we have that sound? If we have the sound from alleged Russian asset Beanie Johnson.
President Trump is doing God's work by refederalizing D.C. By the way, D.C. was set up as a federal city. It's in the Constitution. It's how our founding fathers intended it. These laws are still fully enforceable. They've never been rescinded or amended. President Trump and the executive, through the House of Representatives, controls Washington, D.C. President Trump controls budgets. House of Representatives and the Speaker of the House is technically and historically the mayor, the lead of D.C. That still remains on the books. What happened to D.C., especially during the civil rights period, was that protesters that were bussed up here stayed here. The city was burned to the ground. This happened during massive riots throughout the 60s and 70s. Mass swaths of the city were torched and were never really rebuilt. And so what President Trump is doing is reasserting control of not only our nation's capital, but truly the seat of Western civilization. Washington, D.C. is a representation of the work of your forefathers and mine. It is, by every measure, a very beautiful city architecturally. It is a sacred city. It is a sovereign place with the monuments to great men and women who've sacrificed far more than you or I could ever dream for this country. It must be preserved because the peoples of Earth come here by the millions per year in order to witness the success or failures of our systems. And if you are a proud patriot and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth, then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean. I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down. You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington. That's my personal experience. Don't believe the bullshit that you hear online from some reporters. Oh, crime's down in D.C. Well, my infant nearly died in a drug fire after mass shootings. So no, D.C. is not safe, and I can tell you this as a matter of fact, it is one of the worst, most racist narco states and welfare states imaginable. In that neighborhood that I would walk every single day, racial epithets were screamed at us, rocks were thrown at us because we were white people. This city is a sunken place. It is an unsafe place. I mean, if that's what happens to me, imagine what happens to somebody who's visiting here from a foreign country, right? It's totally and wholly unsafe and a scar on the face of our country, and it must be healed.
Allegedly, okay, through Shell Corporate, all allegedly, let's play the game where we say it so we don't get sued. But he's essentially talking about taking D.C., which is a black city, and then removing the black people from it.
All right. Last month, congressional Republicans cut federal funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which guts NPR
Big
and
bird.
PBS. According to Vox, though, Trump's White House is partnering with PragerU instead. Familiar?
I remember when we talked about this.
Talked about PragerU.
We had a
Douglas?
we had a cool hair.
Frederick Douglass.
We had a good laugh at the PragerU. Now it's come back to haunt us.
First of all, I want to say something real quick, man. Elmo, the words can't really put into. I can't put it into words. Should I say, Elmo, how much you mean to me? You are my Lisan Al Gaib, and I'll continue to support you wherever you are, Elmo. You mean that much to me. When Elmo says something, I know you got a hat not too long ago. And I knew it wasn't you. I knew it wasn't your words. But when Elmo says something, I listen. Elmo, hey, Elmo, just checking on you today. I feel better in my day because my little homie Elmo got me, man. That's Elmo. I would say in fictional characters, who are the most important fictional characters to you?
I'm a fan of the Care Bears. Big fan of the Care Bears.
Rachel, we've never talked about this. Now, are you afraid of the Care Bear cousins as well?
Oh, big time cousins.
I like the cousins.
I like the cousins. They're a little bit more diverse.
They got the,
yeah,
the cousins had a
the
little
cousins.
bit
They had a little bit more flavor.
The cousins. It was somebody in the Care Bears
They came
meeting.
out in the wild, found the cousins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was somebody in the Care Bears meeting that went, hey, nigga. Y'all ain't got enough different types of animals and different types of situations going on. There was a revolt at Care Bears headquarters one day where they were like, we need, and then you came back
because I know the lion was black.
Yeah.
I know.
What's his name? Friendship Lion? What was the lion's name? Well,
there was a Friendship Bear. I
the
don't know.
Friendship Bear, the Care Bear cousin
Braveheart?
lion. Was it Braveheart the lion?
Wait, did I make that up?
That was Nas.
Guys.
Nas had his, did Nas name the Bravehearts after the Care Bears? Shout out to Jungle. Braveheart Lion.
Wow, I dug deep for that one.
Braveheart, hey man, put Braveheart Lion on the screen right now. This is not a supported. Look at Braveheart, Donnie. Look at this picture. I'm gonna send you this picture. Look at Braveheart Lion's hair. This nigga black, man. Hold on.
I said if any
Hold on a second. Hold on, Donnie.
If any of them are.
That nigga got
Who have you seen wear their hair like that?
Donnie, I want
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton. He looked like, bruh.
Al Sharpton.
Look at Braveheart the lion. That's Al Sharpton. They made an Al Sharpton lion, and he was the man. And that's the old Al Sharpton, too. It's not the new Al Sharpton. That's the old Al Sharpton. Listen here. You know, look at him. Look at him. He working with the FBI. Just
I
like
knew
Al
it. I'm
Sharpton
glad
did.
you felt the same way. Because I always, when the
FBI
cousins
asset.
came, when they found the cousins, I was like, yeah, now I feel better about the Care Bears. I love it. You know, there was so many things I couldn't watch, but I have a Care Bear at home. Bozeman bit his nose off.
That's all.
You know
That's
what I
my little nigga right there, man. Little nigga was destructive. All right, so back to cartoons. PragerU is a conservative organization. I'd say a far right conservative organization that prides itself as
100% far right.
Yeah, that prides itself as a think tank. Candace Owens used to work for PragerU. It was started by Dennis Prager, who is a far right Zionist conservative. And they went on a war on education a couple of years ago, a war that's ongoing. Remember, they put these videos out.
Yeah.
Who the government wants to turn PBS over to. They put these videos out, and these videos were to tell us the true stories about American history in ways that we didn't know. This is what they said. This is PragerU's interpretation of Christopher Columbus. Here it is right here.
Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world, even amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? Before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal?
Okay.
This is what we did last time. 2 years ago, we laughed at this.
Wait a minute.
We laughed.
I'm sorry. Like, okay.
We laughed.
You know why that's funny? That's funny because have y'all ever seen Independence Day? Y'all see this? You've seen that movie?
I have.
Donnie, you seen Independence Day?
Yes, I have.
Christopher Columbus is worse than the aliens from Independence Day. Like he literally is in Christopher Columbus is literally, like legitimately, historically. Like Christopher Columbus landed 1492. 2 generations later, white supremacy was invented. Like legitimately, Christopher Columbus lands, he starts exploring all of that, taking slaves, cutting people up, fucking all of that shit, doing all this. I'm not saying that Christopher Columbus himself took slaves, but the lands that they discovered, he landed, I think, in Hispaniola. So that's where Haiti and the Dominican Republic are now. But then it starts kind of this era of what we get taught is exploration. So then everybody's landing everywhere. They landed in Brazil. They landed all this place, and they're trying to figure out which crops they can use. You know what they need for those crops? Well, first of all, they need to subjugate the people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, subjugate the people that are there. So they start killing people, just killing people. Their diaries here, just destroying them. And then not only do they kill people on purpose, they kill them on accident because they bring a ton of fucking diseases with them when they hit these places. Just destroying hundreds of thousands, millions and millions and millions of people. Then after they get their strongholds, there literally was a line where Spain and Portugal literally split the New World and were like, this part is going to be Spain's, this part is going to be Portugal's. Then the French and everybody else get involved. Like, ha, you two countries think that you can make this up. That's bullshit. We're all going to get involved in this. We're going to have colonies here. We're going to have colonies in Brazil. We're going to have colonies all over the place. They want the resources there, but they don't have enough people to work the spots that they've colonized.
Mm-hmm.
So then what do they need?
Hey.
Oh my God. It's more difficult to enslave the indigenous people, although they did for 2 reasons. One was because the indigenous people are there. They know the lay of the land.
Yeah.
They know how to get around. They know how to not be enslaved and all of that stuff. 2, though, because they killed a lot of them and disease killed a lot of them. So they need a place to get slaves from, and they get those slaves from West Africa. It becomes a booming, gigantic, global network of slavery to support the imperialism and colonization of all of these lands because of Christopher Columbus and his cultural technology of exploration and being the worst alien. Christopher Columbus is a worse alien than the aliens from War of the Worlds, than the aliens from Independence Day, because at least we beat those motherfuckers. Like, he changed everything. And now he talking to the people telling them it's not so bad. Nigga, it's your fault.
No big deal. No big deal. That's what he says.
Which one? Should we go to Dr. King? Or
we have to go to Dr. King because I have a question to ask you. Donnie, just give us a snippet of Dr. King.
We have a holiday for you and learn about your I Have a Dream speech every year. You're famous for standing up for what's right, and it would be cool to learn more about that from you.
Do you have a little time?
I can always make time for those who stand up to injustice.
Donnie, stop. Donnie, stop. Tell me that's not a white man.
It's a white dude.
Tell me that is not a white man impersonating. Just give us a little bit more of the Dr. King accent. I don't even care what he says.
And who have the courage to right wrongs.
Have you always stood up for what's right?
Well, from a very early age, I was aware of right and wrong. And when I detected wrong, it gave me a horrible feeling. As a young boy, perhaps just a few years younger than you, Leo, my favorite playmate was a boy near my age who also happened to be white.
Listen, PBS was an independent nonprofit that prioritized education and culture and learning and all of those things that it was. PragerU, first off, is not a university. It is a think tank for the far right to further and promote their ideas and also to rewrite history in a way that waters it down to make them feel better about the past. Basically saying, forget the past. This is where we are now, and we just need to live in the future. Yeah, those things happen, but that was what it was at the time, basically. But now we've moved on, and you see these two children go back in time and talk to these historical figures, but in a way to make themselves feel better about the things that they do and the way that they are in present-day society. It allows them to choose the type of history. PragerU allows these students, because states use this already.
Yeah.
We talked about it in Florida when we did it 2 years ago, but there are like 8 other states, I think, that use PragerU videos, which originally was like a college thing. And now, of course, they're doing it to the children because they're trying to indoctrinate them and change the way that they think about things. But basically, you're allowing them to choose the type of history that they want. Basically, pick the story that makes you feel better. That is the world that PragerU is trying to create. And then they're trying to push their far-right agenda at the same time, which PBS was the total opposite of that.
I feel like I didn't give credit to someone. The Pope and Catholicism. Because when I talked about Christopher Columbus and his exploration and colonization, leading to an arms race and colonization, and then that kind of being the steroids that kind of got the slave trade going, at least made it something that was just very hotly contested, and everybody's competing with their different colonies. And so the need for slaves becomes the lifeblood of the Western world in terms of its economy. I have to give credit to the Pope.
Oh, okay.
Because the Pope was the first one to let the world off the hook. It's Pope Nicholas, we've talked about it before, issued a letter in 1455. So he beat Christopher Columbus by a little while. That classified people who have not yet been exposed to Catholicism as infidels and provided a religious justification for the transatlantic slave trade. He granted Portugal exclusive rights to conquer and enslave all inhabitants of sub-Saharan Africa. Shout out to Home Team History, which is a great YouTube channel that I listen to get like a lot of this information. I will say something else. Home Team History has a great, we've talked about it on here before, a great correspondence between the ruler of Congo and the Portuguese ruler, where there's correspondence back and forth as the African ruler begins to realize that the Portuguese are just straight coming to his land and just straight kidnapping people and using them as slaves. They were having a relationship and having a correspondence, and it was like, at first things were working. I guess at first there was trade, it was mutually beneficial. But then as things go on, the Portuguese, some of the most villainous people in history, just become bloodthirsty for African bodies. And you can see the changing in the way that the African ruler is looking at this through some of the correspondence and communication that they're having. And that is kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about like actually delving into history. When I say that they were aliens, like from another planet, there is a Twilight Zone episode. It's called To Serve Man. Have you seen this?
I watched Twilight Zone.
Let me tell you something. Twilight Zone is the greatest television show.
I've seen a couple of episodes, but
Rod Serling, one of the greatest television writers ever. I'm going to spoil To Serve Man for you right now before I get into the Jillian Michaels thing, which plays into this PragerU deal. So this is what happens in To Serve Man. These aliens come down, and they have like big heads, and they say that they want to be cool.
Okay.
Right? They want to be cool with everyone. They start doing all kinds of great things for humanity. Then, after we've established a relationship with them
and a trust
for them, we start taking trips to their planet. Now, this is so brilliant, man. I'm getting chills. This is so brilliant. So they have a book that they brought with them, and the book is called To Serve Man. And they do that. They growing stuff. There's nuclear disarmament. There's all kinds of things that are happening. While they are doing all of these things and we are going back and forth, like basking in the joy of these people who are trying to help us and save us, there are people that are translating the book because we can't see what's in the book. Our main character in the story, who actually wraps the story around, who starts off by breaking the fourth wall, talking to the camera, we know he's in a fucked up situation. We don't know how he got there. As he is going to get on the alien craft, I'm taking so much joy in being able to do this to you right now. As he's going to get on the alien craft, one of his homegirls runs out to him and says, "Don't get on the plane. Don't get on the craft. To Serve Man, it's a cookbook."
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
It's a cookbook. And I'm telling you right now that all over the world, people landed on places and they were acting just like that when their real goal was to serve these people up to exploitation.
So they were getting cooked on the other planet.
Yeah, literally after that happens, when he's on the alien ship and they're going off to like where they're going, a guy walks in and tells him, "You need to eat." And starts like feeling on like, "You need to eat. We need you to eat. You need to eat." They eat people.
Yeah.
And at first, he's acting like he's not going to eat, but then he's so hungry that at the end of it, you see him eating. It actually starts with him, I guess, addressing camera or breaking the fourth wall and talking about the fact that he's on an alien craft. We don't know how he got there. We know that it went bad, but we don't know why. And then she runs out. I remember when I was a kid, it was kind of one of those things where I wasn't scared. And this is what the Twilight Zone used to do. I wasn't scared, but it just made me stand up. I was blown the fuck away. And my mama used to love this because she had seen these things. She used to love this. I was blown the fuck away. I just stood up like, oh, shit. Blown away. Twilight Zone.
Well, I stopped liking dolls because of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it fucked
I
you
saw
up.
Talking Tina.
Not good.
And that one messed me up.
Donnie, before we leave the education, play Jillian Michaels from Abby's show. Shout out to Abby. I'll be back next week.
Have you looked at some of the things that are being reviewed?
Yeah, slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about.
Okay.
Like,
he's not whitewashing slavery.
So he's not?
He's not. No,
okay.
he's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you look at slavery, let's talk about the fact.
I mean, slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to try to end slavery?
Wait a second.
Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is
in
that
the context of American history, In the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by
What I'm
saying that
you
it was white
cannot-
people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not because of Castro. Yes, no, it's in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't actually know what's in there.
That slavery is thousands of years old.
Well, it's way older. It's very old. Everyone has had. Look, everyone has had slavery.
No, I know.
Okay, so it's very old. It's old, right? Slavery is old. It's not older than that. It's not. If it's not thousands, it would have to be hundreds of thousands or millions. It's thousands of years. Everyone has had slavery. Everyone's had slavery. I want everybody to know this. We don't think that y'all ancestors was the only people that had slavery. I'm it's just for all the, we don't think that. But the Jillian thing is that right there is an important lesson about why you need to understand history. So I'm gonna shoot Jillian some bail, and I'm gonna assume right now.
You're doing a lot.
I'm sorry, it's just my way.
You're giving her too much.
I apologize, Rachel. Okay, God damn it. I'm gonna assume that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and not that she's purposefully saying untrue things.
Okay.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
Slavery. Just real quick, so we can make a quick historical lesson. And this is not from a historian. This is from a nigga who read a couple of books. Me. Like, I am not smart, but I can read. I can read.
Okay.
And you know what's more important than the ability to read? Choosing to. You've made a choice.
Reading culture.
Reading culture. I'm not I'm not Mark Lamont Hill. Not at all. I'm not Mark Lamont Hill. He said I had a bad jab and I had to, call him out. But I'm not Mark Lamont Hill, but I can read. Right. So let's take that claim for a second. Only 2% of white people participated in slavery. That's a quaint way to look at the American experiment of slavery. I keep begging people to read the book. It's just one book. I've read many on it, but a book called From Here to Equality by Dr. Sandy Darity. When we are talking about slavery, we're talking about the involvement of slavery in the American economy. Now, Rachel, if I was to talk to you, if I was to say, tell me about the NBA, most people, if we had a robust conversation about the NBA, we would not just talk about the players and the owners in the NBA. Think about all of the things surrounding the NBA that are a part of the NBA economic machine. Marketing is a part of it. Commercials are a part of it. Sponsorships are a part of it. Like Sprite is a part of the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Starry. I guess it's Starry now. All of the drinks, whatever is the official blankety blank of the NBA. Kia is a part of the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
right? The college basketball is a part of the NBA. High school basketball is a part of the NBA. The EYBL, the Nike Summer League is a part of the NBA. The ABCD camps, all of those things, the Adidas, all of that stuff, it's all a part of the NBA. It's a part of the structure that undergirds and feeds resources and a workforce into the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA in and of itself is an economic machine that makes $10, $12 billion a year. But the things that are involved in basketball culture, which the NBA is the center and flashpoint of, it goes way further than that, right? It's way further than that. Way, way further than that. Slavery is not that much different. It's actually not different at all, right? For somebody like Jillian, she thinks, okay, the white people that were involved in slavery are the white people who owned slaves.
Mm-hmm.
What if you owned a newspaper? And in that newspaper, you advertised slave auctions.
Mm-hmm.
What if you owned an insurance company and that insurance company insured slaves? What if you owned a shipping company and that shipping company shipped slaves? What if you are a part of not direct enslavement of African people, but the economic infrastructure that benefits from the direct enslavement of African people? Sorry, you're a part of slavery. By the way, there are numbers behind that. There are estimates that at the peak of American dependence on slavery, that you're seeing around 25 to 35% of the, or actually, Donnie, check that, around 20 or 30% of the American economy involved in slavery, right? If you Transport that number today. That is $8 trillion. $8 trillion in today's money. $1 trillion in today's money involved in slavery. And that doesn't even begin to contextualize the global industry of slavery, where cotton alone is so dependent on by some other nations that us moving away from the slave trade is changing their financial systems. So many things that they are depending on the American South for, that there are political ramifications in the freedom of Black people. There are cultural ramifications in it. Jillian just doesn't understand the issue. Either that or she's lying. I would venture to believe that she just doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, because and that's why history is important. It's important to understand the history of the issue, not so you can find out who is to blame for it, because we already know that. The scope of the issue lets you understand the condition of Black people after that, and what would have to be done, actually done, to reinvest into a community that legitimately suffered billions of lashings for trillions of dollars. Legitimately suffered, I'm going to do an Umar, I'm going to say that again, billions of lashings for trillions of dollars. The economic engine of the richest nation in history, Black people, us, Negroes, whatever you want to call us. So she could look around and say, hey, I don't know that many people who have direct descendants of slave owners. I don't know. But even conservative estimations of the economic engine of this country or the economic structure of slavery tell you that America has a gigantic bill to pay, and at least a gigantic conversation to have.
Why do you think she brought up the percentage 2%?
She brought up the percentage of 2% because numbers without context are incredibly devastating weapons.
And I know that you can't speak to the exact intention behind it, but when I hear her bring up that statistic, to me, she is trying to water down, defend, or excuse, or make it seem like what's the big deal. And that's why I can't give her anything.
Well, I'm not giving her anything. What I'm saying is,
I can't say that she. No. I just can't say that she's ill-informed. No, you are purposefully doing this in order to prove a point, to make slavery not as big of a deal. Like, why are we still talking about it in this way? Why do we have a problem with the way that PragerU is trying to present it when only this many people did? You are being purposefully dumb,
right,
in order to further what to make yourself feel better, to further the point that you're making, and you're defending slavery in essence by doing that. That's why I'm like, I can't.
So
I look at it. That's why I said, what was the point of her doing it?
I get what you're saying. I don't give a fuck about Jillian. I want to make this conversation about Jillian. I never want to make this conversation about the person who is saying the thing.
It's not. It's what she's saying.
But this is my deal. This is my deal. If I'm combing through, because this happens to me all the time as I'm combing through data. If I'm combing through data and the data says only 2%, by the way, I don't even know if that's true. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So, and I haven't looked at that. So I forgive myself to the audience.
But the thing, let's just say it is 2%.
So what you would do is, what would happen is, if you were incurious about the issue in a holistic way, and you looked at that, you would go, fuck, that's a win. So what would happen is, you would have to really endeavor to understanding in a more robust way the economic reality of slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. We're talking about America here. We're not talking about all the other places that the transatlantic slave trade affected. We're not talking about all of our diasporic brothers and sisters. Hey man, I'm still fucking with y'all. I'm fucking with y'all. I know sometimes we get into it, but I'm fucking with all my people in the Caribbean. I'm fucking with all of my people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And everything that went into slavery there, and how it enriched the countries that had colonized them. I'm not assuming like goodness for her. I honestly don't think that she looked into that. I don't think she's read. I don't think we've read the same.
Do you know she should look into it? But to be honest, I don't even think you have to look into it to truly make the point. 2% of people own slaves. How many billionaires are there? I mean, what's the percentage of billionaires?
Right now? Is it like 3%?
How influential?
Actually, I don't know.
But but how influential are billionaires in our society? What is their reach and what is the impact that they have in this society? It doesn't matter when you have impact, reach, money, power. Do you know what I'm saying?
So like you don't not even. Wrong.
That's why I love the breakdown you gave, and it's right. And she should be curious, and she should like just not spew out numbers and should research it. But it's so dumb to me to say only 2% when you can look at something else and say that's a small percentage too, but it doesn't, their reach and impact and power is undeniable. And the effects that they have that trickles down all the way to the person with nothing, it's still there.
What you're saying, I agree with. You're saying, number one, you shouldn't want to make slavery into not a big deal. Number one. Right. Which is all of this stuff, the PragerU stuff, all like kind of wrapped into. You should not want to make slavery not a big deal. That's the first thing. And then secondly, she probably has ulterior motives as to why she's doing this. I agree. I think a lot.
But
of
her 2% argument is I'm combating that.
What I'm also saying, you are. What I'm also saying is that it's also just wrong.
Yeah.
It's a wrong-headed way to look at it. We talked about the drop in crime earlier. The reason why I talk about the drop in crime and then I say, well, there was a spike, and then I take it back 30 years or take it back 40 years, because if we went back to 85, man, if you lived through some of these cities in the 80s, man, shout out to our parents, man. It was fucking going down, all right? It's like I'm doing this to make sure that I have me in my dumb nigga ways, just a dumb nigga now. I'm making sure that I have enough contextual understanding of it that I'm not cherry picking numbers to say something that I can't back up with any data, which I am going to make sure that I do not do. And she obviously made no attempt to investigate what slavery actually meant to the American economy and what it actually meant to be involved in slavery. Now, if you're saying who's evil and who's good, then I guess your version of evil could be the evil slave master that is whipping slaves and operates a 500-person plantation, essentially like George Washington, who would move all of his slaves south of the Mason-Dixon line every 6 months and then take them back over the Mason-Dixon line to reset the clock on slavery, because there was a law passed in the North that said anybody that's been a slave for 6 months would then be freed. They were trying to get rid of slavery, and George Washington went, I'll take my niggas down below the Mason-Dixon, reset the clock, and then we'll go back up, and we'll do it again. Dedicated slaver, also a slave catcher, okay? George Washington, facts, it's fact. Inconvenient history, fact. But for somebody like her, the scope of American slavery and the involvement of American slavery, the tentacles were everywhere. The evil of it is just one part of what made it such a devastating international force. The other part that made it a devastating international force, it was an insane economic driver that the people that still live in the communities where it happened just did not get a chance to participate in. So if you're looking around in these places, even the numbers that we talked about earlier, the homicide numbers, why are things generally worse in the South? All of that stuff, like, if you're going to talk about it, do the reading.
Yeah.
This is coming from just a regular dumb nigga. Oh, Rachel. Oh.
All right.
Donnie.
Sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson addressed and apologized for her recent domestic violence arrest.
What?
She was arrested a couple weeks ago on a 4th-degree domestic violence offense for allegedly assaulting her boyfriend, Christian Coleman, at the Seattle-Tacoma airport.
Listen, Chris, I assaulted you? Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm just making sure.
It's not him that reported it. One of the TSA folks reported it.
Oh, one of the TSA people, because I can definitely have evidence of him assaulting me if possible.
There's cameras everywhere.
Okay. But like I said, yes, I do. My name is. But I'm telling you that we was arguing. I didn't assault him. I didn't do anything wrong. But the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in this situation, I'm going to comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. I didn't. Can he tell you that I didn't do nothing to him? We have it on Christian, are you serious right now?
All right.
Christian, I'm about to go to jail because of you right now. You know what? Okay.
I know.
I'm just asking. If he says that I wasn't being domestic, y'all still are gonna arrest me no matter what, correct?
Yes.
Y'all still gonna arrest me, so I have to stay in jail overnight tonight because of him, and he's not gonna come and bail me out.
I want to put your ID back in here.
All right, so that incident happened of domestic violence, and then Sha'Carri Richardson, should I say, gave an apology. And when we're talking about this apology, I want to make sure that we get video of this too, not just the apology as far as the audio is concerned. So if you are listening on audio right now, like and subscribe, but go to YouTube because I want you to see the look on Sha'Carri Richardson's face as she apologizes. That's a part of it. Just look at the body language, okay? So Donnie, play the apology.
Hey y'all, it's Sha'Carri, and more than anything, definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation, but somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for as well is something that holding myself accountable. I see myself, I'm taking this time to not only see myself, but get myself a certain level of help that overall is going to reflect who I truly am in my heart and my spirit, and not allowing this moment, but accepting this moment to be more. And so my only thing is I want to be more, not even just for myself, for my family, for my fans, and overly appreciate y'all supporting me and showing up and even holding me accountable to being my best self. So more than anything, I refuse to run away, but not refuse to run, but I refuse to run away, but face everything that comes to me head on, because everything on the other side is greater, but you got to go through in order to get there. So I'm Sha'Carri, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and one love, much love, and y'all be blessed.
Okay. No,
What's up with the tone? What's up with the tone?
We typically do an apology rating when someone fucks up and then makes an apology. And
I mean, we should note that the first footage that came out actually showed her putting her hands on Christian, him walking away, her continuing to follow, push him, shove him. That was first. And then this video footage came out, the body cam footage, and now we're getting the apology. I saw something where there was a written apology, but I don't know if that was real or not. I saw it in passing. And the reason I bring that up is because in that apology, it acknowledged that she says she has some trauma. And she apologized to Christian and said that she's never had a love like that before, and he's treated her like no one else. And, she's been through past trauma. And though he's never been like that with her, I'm paraphrasing here, she's recognizes that like she needs to get help. I'm going to give her apology a 5. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I can't help it. See, Van.
I've been waiting for this.
Van.
I've been waiting for this.
Now, let me be clear. From the video footage we saw, I know she says that she could say she has evidence of him putting his hands on her. We don't. So I'm going to hold space for that. But from the video we saw, she is 1000% wrong. She is putting her hands on this man. He is not retaliating. He is walking away. He's not even the one who called the police, TSA. TSA called the police. Somebody else did this on his behalf based off what they saw. She is 100% in the wrong. The reason I'm giving her 5 is, one, I'm trying to be better. So why not start with her? I'm trying to be better with my apology ratings, because what's the point of doing the segments if I'm always going to give 0s, 1s, and -1s? So why not start with Sha'Carri? Listen, allegedly, there's a written statement. I still don't know if that's true, but there is this video. I don't know why Van directed you guys to look at the video. To me, she came across as nervous when she was talking. I think he's trying to present it in a different way. But she gets on there. She apologizes. She says, you guys need to hold her accountable. She's holding herself accountable. She says she's going to get help. She says that she's sorry. I mean, I hope that, I'm big on acting, not just talking. If there is real trauma that Sha'Carri has faced, if she knows that she's got anger management issues or whatever it may be from the past, I really hope that she takes action and does that. See, I would have given her more if she would have said, and this is what I'm doing now to be better so I can hold myself accountable, not just in words, but in actions. But she checked the boxes for me, some of them. So I'm gonna give her a 5 here. I'm going to give her a 5.
You are the apology rating guru. I'm not going to speak on your rating. I'm going to say this. Christian Coleman runs a 9.76 in the 100-meter dash.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that nigga was that fast. God damn, 9.76 is moving. 6th all-time in the history of the 100 meters event. Christian, use that speed and run away.
Yeah, they shouldn't be together.
From Sha'Carri Richardson. Run.
Y'all hitting each other in public is bad.
Ain't no y'all hitting each other now.
I'm sorry. She said that. She's hitting you in public. She says there's evidence, whatever. If there's violence in public,
Brother,
it's bad.
I don't know what has happened in the past, and we never know. We never know, by the way, when we see videos of people roughing people up and doing that stuff like that. We never know. We're diving into it now. We're shooting a ton of bail. And look, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Let me be honest. Let me be non-toxic here. We're shooting bail. You know why we're shooting bail? Because it is a silly thing to say that it is exactly the same when you're talking about abuse. It is the same, but it's not exactly the same.
Sure.
Okay, it's the same. I want you guys to listen to me.
It's still abuse.
It's the same. But it's not exactly the same, right? Exactly the same would be if women had historically beaten, raped, and killed men and made men unsafe in the same way over the course of thousands of years, like Jillian said, as the entire human history. And if women had the power, even right now, to keep men under their thumb and in relation, abuse is the same, but the situations aren't exactly the same. I acquiesce to that. Get mad when you guys want to get mad. However, this is what I don't want to see happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, I don't want to see happen. This is why I tell him to get away from him. Not every man is strong enough to be assaulted by a woman. Like I'll tell you how I grew up. Like my dad would say, I already talked about my dad. Dad would say, hey, don't hit on girls. Don't hit on girls. It was like, your sister hit you, whatever you do to her, I'm going to do to you. Point blank, please. Don't matter. Don't matter. Don't hit girls. Don't hit girls ever. So you smack me, I might laugh. Which, by the way, when you do that, it only makes them more angry. You smack me, I might laugh. I'm like, whoa. You just hit me. Little person, smaller person, you just hit me. Like, I won't even jump at you. Because I seen one of my homeboys, he got smacked hard. And then after this was a good fucking shot. And after he got smacked, he laughed and then he went, and then he did like that. She went, oh my God. And then I'm like, nigga, what you doing? And he's like, I'm not about to do nothing to her. What the fuck? Let's get the fuck out of here. And so I took him to his other girl's house, which is probably the reason why this is
jeez.
The whole thing was happening in the first place. Or part of the reason why it doesn't excuse abuse. But listen, I'm not gonna say it's the same. I'm gonna say that if Christian Coleman isn't strong enough to be abused, if he is being hit or if he is being abused and then he snaps and turns around and kicks her in her stomach or smacks her, the world is not going to care about what happened first.
That's true.
They're not going to care about what happened first.
Yes. That's true.
And by the way, it's once again, I'm just being a real nigga with y'all. It is different. If he is putting his hands on her and doing all of that stuff, it's different. in the sense of the damage he can do. It's not different in the sense of domestic violence.
Yeah.
But if you are with somebody, like, here's the deal. This was like this is the opposite of what T.K. Kirkland was saying.
Oh, Lord.
Remember T.K. Kirkland was
How
saying,
could I forget?
if your woman makes you want to kill her, then you should leave her. I think you should leave and go get help. Okay? That's what I think you should do. If you want to kill somebody, I think you should leave and go get help.
Yeah.
I'm telling Christian almost the opposite of this. If your woman is abusive to you and smacking you around, either you have to, and we don't know how often this happens. I'm not going to act like this happens every Tuesday with them. You should leave.
Yeah.
Because if one day, if you've had too much to drink, or if you're in a situation and you just retaliate, you're fucked.
Also, it's just super toxic. You shouldn't just be with that. I saw this and I'm like, they need to be totally separated, not together at all.
Right.
And she needs, as she said, to go seek some help and figure out why. We can't speak to anything we didn't see. We're only speaking about what we saw. So I'll leave it there. I stand by my 5, but I also agree they should not be together.
The apology seemed, I can't give it a rating.
Okay.
It's one of the worst apologies I've ever seen to anything like this.
Oh.
She didn't apologize directly to him. She didn't.
That's why I need to
She seemed like it was off kilter. It was odd. It was weird. It seemed arrogant.
She seemed nervous.
It seemed arrogant in a way. Like it didn't seem like she understood the gravity of the situation at all. And because of that apology, okay, here it is. Here's another apology. I apologize to Christian. He came into my life. Okay, so she did say this.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
But it gave me more than a relationship, but a greater understanding of unconditional love. You already read it. So she did apologize to him. Now, Donnie, here's the deal. Did she apologize to him before or after the video came out? Because
I believe this post is after the video, but
see what
I
I'm
could
saying?
be wrong.
So she was even this apology is a response. Why you gotta? It's not gender wars. This is you ain't gotta. Hey,
That has nothing to do with it.
You're fucking. You don't like the fact that she's all fucked up, and that's just that's just a reality. She's all fucked up.
Listen. She says it in here, right? Doesn't she say? Yeah, she says But like I will say, you have past trauma and pain, then you need to work that out before being in a relationship and then putting like that coming out and you impacting somebody else. You need to go get help and work on yourself. I stand by that. Of course, it's also Sha'Carri, like Oak Cliff, Texas. I have a little bit of
LSU.
I have a little bit of a soft spot for her because she's from the same neighborhood I'm from.
Right. So you're okay. I get it. Christian, take a break. Run 976. I don't know what is 976. Get out of there. Because 976.
Get out of
That
there.
nigga fast. He fast as shit. You know what? Because
where's he from?
These newer brothers, I see them hauling off on ladies all the time. They get popped. They turn around, bang, bang.
Atlanta.
And then on the internet, it's left for people to litigate and go, did she deserve it? Don't put yourself in that position, especially if you're running the 976, man. Run the 976 out of there. Like, and the reason why, it's not even that this happened. People have been pushed on before. By the way, women will hit you.
Yes.
They like, so I'll just be honest, like you guys.
Yes, women will hit you.
Like women will hit you. Women will smack the shit out of you. They'll push you. They will hit. It happens. It happens. Women will hit. They smack. They push. Okay. But if you can't deal with it and you with a hitter, then you got to get out of there before the shit gets too bad. Because she did not look like she gave a fuck at all in the video.
I think she looked nervous.
All right.
That's just me.
Donnie?
Yeah, one more relationship topic. Actress Jurnee Smollett is facing a new legal battle with her ex-husband and band's friend Josiah Bell, who is seeking half of her retirement savings, including her 401k and Screen Actors Guild pension. Now, this comes after she reportedly paid Bell nearly $1 million in accordance to their 2021 divorce settlement. And he has filed a claim asserting his entitlement to a portion of her retirement funds.
Okay. He's requesting 50% of the funds Smollett accrued in her retirement accounts between 2010 and 2019. This period coincides with their marriage. making the fund subject to California's community property laws, which typically require marital assets to be divided equally in the divorce. Okay, well, guys, here's the deal. I know this guy. I know. I boxed with him. I did not call him and tell him that we were going to be covering this topic. I didn't let him know, but obviously there's going to be some sort of bias here. And this is this right here, Donnie, I want to see it in the lower thirds if you can. This is going to be the most biased topic that we have ever done on higher learning. Rachel has biases for some reason, okay, for her own personal reasons. And I know this guy, and I'll just be honest with you. I don't know what went on in their marriage. I do not want to know what happened, but this dude is a hell of a fucking nice guy and a ridiculously good dad. Like a hell of a nice guy and a ridiculous. If you even ask him about Jurnee Smollett, do you know what his response is? I got to protect my son. Can't really talk about nothing that went on with Jimmy. And that is who so I don't know what was going on with their marriage. I don't know the whole deal. If somebody comes out tomorrow and goes, this nigga was the worst nigga in the world, whatever, I'm saying I know him, I box with him. He's a nice guy and a fucking fantastic father. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. Rachel has thoughts.
You don't know what happens behind closed doors. And this goes for Jurnee. I don't know how she is. I don't know how Josiah is. I don't know anything about that. So especially having a personal experience, I think there were a lot of people who were shocked by my situation because they would have described, people say it to me all the time, I never would have thought that my ex was capable of doing what he did. Like, never thought that he was that kind of person. Nice guy, quiet guy. These are all the things people would say. You have no idea who somebody is when it comes to divorce, especially when one person has more than the other, when one person seemingly has the upper hand in regards to finances and assets than the other. You have no idea what motivates the person who doesn't have that to do the things they do. I have no idea why they got divorced. No idea the reasons that led to it. Can't speculate to that. But what I will never say now is that person is a nice man, that person is a nice woman, that person is a good father, that person is a good mother, because you have no idea how that person is acting when it comes to the divorce. I constantly still get people asking me, why do you think he acts like that? Why do you think he did that? There's a lot of reasons why, but I can't even speak to it because whatever it is, it's motivating him, at least in my situation, to go after, to use the law to his benefit. I've said this before. Just because you can take advantage of something or just period, because you can do something doesn't mean you should. This man got $1 million and is getting paid alimony and child support, $7,000 a month. I don't know how long they were married. I don't know if it was more than 10 years or less. If it's more than 10 years.
I think the article said, I don't know either, but I think the article said that the stuff that he's looking for from 2010 to 2019 is.
But that could still be 10 years. Like I know like subtracting it's 9 years, but you know what I mean? Like I don't know the date of them. It's like close on the line.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because if it is less than 10, then he only gets this support for half the time of the marriage. If it's more than 10, he continues to get this spousal support and child support. This is a lot of money to me. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. What I don't understand is why the retirement wasn't considered in the original divorce settlement. Mine was. I don't know if she wasn't forthcoming with it. I don't know if his attorneys didn't even ask or seek it out. But for whatever reason, 4 years later, because they were divorced in 2021, he's coming back and asking for it. Is he entitled to money that was made or accrued during the marriage? Absolutely. But just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. You're getting a lot of money here. You're getting child support to be able to support yourself and the spousal and your child, and you're still going after her retirement money. And this is another reason why people have a problem with it. She had money before they were married. It is accrued over the years that they were married, and he wants that money that she made during the marriage off money she made before the marriage. There is a line of greed. And when I look at this is greedy. I'm Dr. Umar now. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And I'm probably feeling it more because I was fucking served papers this week. So like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I get so tired of the narrative, you should have had a prenup. Yeah, I'm sure Jurnee thought that. I think that now. But when you're entering it, those are things that you don't think of it and you learn it as a hard lesson. But it doesn't mean that that person who once committed to you, who once made vows, you made vows in front of all the people that you loved, says all of a sudden that is gone by the wayside in order for I'm going to get everything that I can. Because usually the intention is to try to hurt that person because you do have, in her situation, the money, the fame, the opportunity to make even more, to even maybe even tell her story after this. People view her differently than they view him. So men like this try to take everything they can. Bring back shame. There should be a level of shame. Bring back the shame.
What should he be ashamed of?
The greed.
He should be ashamed to be greedy?
You should have got this. I have no idea why this wasn't taken care of when the divorce was settled. The divorce was settled. Like my dispute has to do with an amount. It's not the same as this is coming back. I don't know why it wasn't taken care of, but you got it. And then 4 years later, I don't know if you had a conversation with someone. I don't know what it was that said, hey, let me go back and go get more. It's just greedy.
It's greedy.
It's greedy.
Okay.
And that's where I say the shame is attached to the greed for me.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, about, whether or not I say Josiah's a nice guy or whatever like that, and I don't know what went on in the relationship. You're right. You're right. I said this a couple of days ago or on the last podcast that I don't really know what goes on. And remember what you said? You said, I wouldn't expect you to say that about me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just feel like you know stuff and you've seen stuff.
Right. At the same time, I know you. Right. And so in that situation, but I don't know all of this stuff, right? Let's say I know a little bit more, but I don't know all this stuff. In that situation, if there's a conversation about you and your ex or whatever, I'm going to be like, hey, I know Rachel. This is the Rachel that I know. I don't know. I know some things that happened in her relationship. I don't know all the things that happened in her relationship. I know things that happened in a relationship that I think were maybe mistakes that you might have made.
We've talked about it.
Right. So,
but not money wise, right? Like that more.
No,
not that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Basically, the house was in my name. I bought the house. I put it in my name. I didn't put his name on it. And here's the thing in California. The thing in California is if you're married and you buy a house, you can't buy it married unless that person signs their rights away. He signed the rights away over. He owns property totally separate from me in Miami. I was like, I have the money. I'm paying all the rent, all the property taxes, the home insurance, every single thing. Not one dime was put in it. I was like, at the time, this is the biggest investment I'm making. I want to put my name on the house. It was as if, because I didn't have a prenup. Where I stood at that point, I was like, I'm going to, where I thought I was, protecting myself. So yeah,
because you weren't
that's
sure.
what Van's talking about. When it comes to money, I put the house only in my name, and he signed, fully competent, signed away his rights, any right he had to the house.
Okay, so we're not gonna get super personal about your marriage.
No. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is, the moment that I heard that,
oh yeah,
I was like, it's over. Because like the moment that I heard that, I was like, there's just no fucking way. And the reason why is because I was like, the gesture of you guys, let me say something right now before we get into this, because this is like real life that we're talking about. Brian is an asshole. That's it. And look, there's no, if Brian see me and he want to beat me up,
oh, come on.
Fine. But whatever, man. Like I just like, that's just Brian. Over the time, I didn't know Brian like I thought I knew Brian. Didn't really know Brian at all. But if somebody asked me,
you tried.
Brian, I did. If somebody asked me, I said Brian was a polite guy, cool guy, whatever. But Brian, to me, a lot of the things that went on, to me, made himself look like an asshole. That's what I'll say. So it is what it is. Like, people can take that or say whatever the fuck they want to say, but I don't give a fuck. But, however, I do think that was wrong to do, because I think that if you are married to someone, that it is such a major step to take to buy a home. And then if you buy a home and you're like, this is my house and you live in here, you are bifurcating the relationship in a way that is irreparable.
And what I will say is I understand that thinking. I have no regrets. I would have done it again based off our situation. But I was tired of paying all the rent, all the bills, and it wasn't going anywhere. I was like, I'm going to look for a house. I can do this. But what I will say is publicly, you knew because we're a family, but publicly, I would never say that. I would say, our house, this is ours. We bought this. So the public perception was this is something we're doing together, but it didn't change. It didn't change the sentiment.
So
it didn't change the fact that he, I'm sure, felt emasculated. I own up to that. You can never speak. You're right. You can't speak to the type of wife I was, but you know.
But so the only reason why I say
that was me trying to post nump it.
The only reason why I'm going back to that. And by the way, just to let you guys know, I'm an asshole too. So I mean, I think you guys know that.
Me too.
Yeah, so I think you guys know that. So me saying that he's an asshole.
No, he's a demon.
I wouldn't say demon.
I will.
I'm an
I
asshole.
will personally
I know people
say
that are not assholes.
Demon.
I am an asshole. I don't think that you're an asshole. I think you're a little hard on people, but you're a cop. But like I'm an asshole. Ask around. Man's an asshole. I'm not trying to sit in judgment of people, but you know, God put my friend through a lot of stuff, so there it is. That's what it is. But I'll say that, and I'm saying this in terms of like Josiah, who I do not know enough about their relationship to shoot and bail. But I'm saying that, you know, me saying that he is a nice man and that he cares about his son is to me, and he's a good dad, is to me contextualizing the fact that, let me ask you, is there a possibility that this is not about greed? Is there a possibility that this is actually about putting himself as a father? Because I think that he has custody.
Does he have full custody?
I think that he, hold on. I think
he has some sort of custody because he's getting support.
Hold on for a second.
But does he have full custody? I don't know.
Does he?
Our guy, not Captain America,
Chris,
says that they have joint custody.
Okay. They have joint custody. Cool.
So he still gets, so that's my point. I thought they had joint custody. So yeah, he gets child support because he has the child, you know, he shares custody. But I am trying to think of a world where she's still taking care of him as well. And you.
Right.
And why do you need more money? You know, the whole, like, I can't figure it out. You got almost $1 million. She paid for your attorney because that's how it goes too. So you don't have legal bills. You got $1 million and you're getting $7,000 a month in child support. They've been divorced for 4 years. So what is 84 times 4? He's almost got $500,000 in support between child and spousal support. You know, almost gotten $500,000.
It's unclear here who has custody of the kids. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not sure. Let's just say,
I just can't see a reason. I'm trying to find it other than, oh, that's money that is deserving to me, so I'm gonna go after that. Because that's usually what happens. Like, oh wait, you're telling me that there's more money I could have got? I'm gonna get everything I can possibly have.
But and I'm asking,
and you can.
I'm asking, but why wouldn't you?
I think for me, I can be a prideful person, and I have like several friends that are going through a divorce right now, and I have friends who are like, got married with kids, all these type of things, and they even hesitate on support when it comes to it because there's a thing of, I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to not have to depend on a monthly check and stand on my own and wait for it. Like, you wait, there's a level of that. I know, I'm telling you. I know.
Be working though, man.
Well, he might, but he's also asking for more.
He's asking for more, but
it doesn't matter that he's not working. I'm saying, you ask me the question, and I'm saying there is a level of, I don't want to have to depend. Like, I got money, I got enough to start over, to start something up. I'm still getting monthly payments that I'm gonna get for the next several years, and which may be they may be less than 10 years. Because if it is half the time that they were married and he's already gotten 4 years of support, he's coming up on it ending for the spousal. So maybe that is why he tapped into it. I don't know. But there has to come a point where you just want to stand on your own and not wait for your allowance. Because that's what the fuck it is. Now, I am not saying for the person who can't work or who has to start completely over and has to take care of a family and is, that is what the law is for.
Yeah.
To me, this feels like greed, and it may not be. There may be something in particular that pertains to him, that pertains to the child.
I think he wants to take care of his son.
Yes, but that it is joint, from what I see, joint custody, and I can't see a reason. But yeah, it's just, I am biased with this. I'm not saying, and I've maintained this, I'm not saying you aren't deserving of money. I've never said that. I've never said you should get nothing. But I don't think that you should push it to the point of greed.
Okay. So we can get off this after I ask one last question. Because I'm totally agnostic in this. The only thing I know is that this dude, from my experiences with him, is a good dude. And so I can't really say, when I say a good dude, look, man, it's going to be people.
He might be a good he might not be a good husband. He might not be, you don't know.
Listen, I don't know. It's going to be people that's going to be listening to this. This is what happens to me. First of all, can I say something about this Van thinks you're a good dude thing? Okay, I want to say something about this. Is there a chance that I need to be more discriminating in saying that? Maybe. But I will say something else. For some reason, no matter what that reason is, people tend to show me the best side of themselves. They do. When I walk into a room and when I'm sitting with people, not the niggas who really know me, but when I'm sitting with people, they want to have deeper conversations. They want to explore things in a deeper way. They want to talk about, they don't want to do, if I say I've been in places before, if I say some shit that they consider to be like regular nigga, they go, oh shit, you fuck with that? And I'll be like, yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you think I do? You think I walk around in a fucking white cloak, like walk around like fucking, like checking up on people and stuff like that. So like a lot of times when people meet me, we meet in the sunshine, not in the darkness. So the conversations I have with people are elevating. They're nutritious. They're worthwhile. Like I don't really spend too much time talking about a lot of bullshit with a lot of people or whatever, to where I'm like, oh, this person's. And when I do see somebody that's an asshole, you will never hear me mention them. There are plenty of people that I know. They're just assholes, right? And you don't really hear me mention them at all, because the way I look at things is if we start exchanging insults back and forth, and I look at it as we can just fight. Like in a real way, like we can just fight. I don't want to do the thing to where we on the other side of all of this stuff trying to figure out whose dick is bigger behind mics, or we walking around town and is no. You can just get to the point where we just beat each other up and then that's it. Like that's still the Baton Rouge thing. It's like, it's the deal. I'm not a tough guy at all, but I just think a lot of that, like having bad blood and animus with people is a waste of time. It's like a waste of time.
It weighs on you too.
But so if when me saying that he's a nice guy, somebody I've known for a little while, can I be honest with you?
You didn't know he was married to her?
I did not know that. I did not know that. I'd known him for years. We had boxed for years. For years. I had seen him around and all of that stuff. We had boxed for years. I did not know that. He has never come in there, talked about his ex-wife's family, or talked about that, or and I know dudes, and this is the thing in LA too, I know dudes in LA that are legitimately making their relevance in the city based upon a famous woman that they dated. Like, I used to date so-and-so and so-and-so. I used to date so-and-so. Women do it too. Yeah, I used to date Kid
Women
Cudi.
for sure
Women do it too, but I know guys in LA that are doing that. Him, I've never, ever, 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 ever heard him go into detail. And even when I asked him about it recently on some different shit. You know what I asked him about? I asked him about I asked him about the situation about Jurnee Smollett and whether or not he thought Jurnee Smollett was lying or telling the truth. I'm one of those people that, just to be real with you, despite the fact that I made a joke and Jesse got mad at me, despite that fact, I still deeply want to believe that Jurnee Smollett is telling the truth. Like, deeply. I am the type of person.
The alternative is so troubling.
Yeah, there's a documentary coming out that him and his family are doing, and or that it's already done, and he's doing press on that and all of that. I still open myself up to the possibility that the Chicago PD and the mayor's office and all of this stuff cooked up a conspiracy.
Why? But why?
'Cause, man.
Why him?
Well, not just why him. It's like Umar.
Oh.
So Umar came out, and I don't know if you guys know, but the city of Wilmington. The city of
All
Wilmington.
that time you want to spend talking about snow bunnies never and black queens forever, which I appreciate as a black queen, but all that time you want to spend posting, investigating interracial couples, and then calling them out when things go wrong. It's your turn. Spent too much time on the wrong shit. Where's the school? Where's the money?
See? And you know what? I watched the whole video. I watched the whole thing. And when I'm watching it, he goes, it's a conspiracy by the city hall and all of that stuff. And I go, maybe it is, man. Maybe they don't want the Umar school to be in Wilmington. I don't know.
No.
I have this irrational belief sometimes that when black people say that the powers that be are conspiring against me, I so desperately always want to be like, maybe they are, man.
And then there are people who take advantage of that thinking.
Without a doubt.
And that thinking, because
Van is
just
also-
2 weeks
remember,
ago, he
dumb
was
nigga.
asking for money. Just 2 weeks ago, he was like, I don't know
Whoa,
why my accounts were
hold on,
frozen.
hold on, hold on.
I don't know why my accounts were frozen. I don't know what happened. And people were like, that doesn't make sense.
Look. If you look into the Umar stuff in terms of with the school, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. And it seems like somebody in his camp wasn't taking care of their business. That's true. At the same time, I also find it believable that maybe there are people in the higher up people that do not want a school like that to exist, particularly in their community. I can see a situation where that exists.
But where's the money?
Look, I know in my heart of hearts what really happened. I know in both cases, but what I'm saying is I have faith in black people, and I want to be wrong. I want it to be true that he didn't fuck up in what he was supposed to do with the school. And I also want it to be true that in the case of Jurnee Smollett, that he didn't lie and weaponize all of those things to whip people up, and that it actually was something that happened to him, or that there's something deeper there. I want to believe it. Doesn't mean that it's true. I'm saying X-Files. I want to believe. But this is what I'm saying. I saw Josiah at the gym a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he responded like a total fucking gentleman. He goes, man, look, I get people be curious about stuff like that, but just to be honest with you, when it comes down to it, I gotta protect my son. I gotta protect this. I gotta protect that. And he's like, and that's not the kind of thing I'm gonna talk about. And then he starts showing me pictures of him and his son at a soccer game. And he was like, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a good nigga, man.
You know what that sounds like to me?
And then a week later, this comes out. He actually made me feel bad. He made me feel like a TMZ asshole asking him about his son's family.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask.
Right? No, I mean, I would have asked just because it's in the news, right? And also, I'm curious about whether or not there's going to be information that comes out that says that Jurnee Smollett did not do this. Shout out to my man, Jared Hill, who...
is he behind it?
I think he's part of the documentary.
Okay.
So shout out to Jared, who's a fantastic person, by the way. And if he believes, once again, that makes me want to believe, and I'm still here for it. Fuck it. So what I'm saying is all of that, just going back to Josiah, I don't know him. I have a deep feeling that Josiah is a nice guy. And
he might be. But can I tell you what that response sounded like? Man, when it comes down to it, let me tell you what that was code for. I signed an NDA. in the divorce.
So he can't talk about Jurnee Smollett?
He probably can't talk about any of it.
He shouldn't have talked about it. I shouldn't have asked.
You should ask. He probably signed an NDA.
But what I'm saying is this.
That's why he's not talking about anything.
All right, so we've biracial this, by the way, because we spent too much time on it. By the way.
No, Van. No. No, by the ways. No.
All right, Rachel's made the decision. No.
You're welcome,
y'all
guys.
Y'all know what's up. Get off me. All right, cool. So we'll leave this. So, but this is okay, before we leave it, are you now a permanent spousal support warrior, like on both sides?
I've always said
Are you willing to go to war? If we covered a couple of stories, you don't have to be. I don't believe in toxic consistency, but I don't believe in that. Oh, I don't.
No, I'm playing with you.
Okay.
I'm playing with you.
It's niggas first. So if you come back and you do too many whatabouts, well, what about the other people? I'll be like, I don't give a fuck about them. I do. I'm a humanist, but it's niggas first. Okay. Are you willing to call out the women that
100%. Who I think are taking advantage, who I think are being greedy? 100%. I am anti taking advantage of these. I think these laws should change and consider way more than they do.
I have one last question before we leave. Is gender a consideration here? Because I could see a situation where we could be discussing something like this, and the explanation to the difference between men doing it, or women doing it is that men have so much more earning potential.
Mm-hmm.
Women oftentimes are put in situations after marriages where they were there as an accessory to the husband, even still.
Sure.
Right? So they're not quite in the same position of power to go earn money after the marriage. So women should get as much as they possibly can. And men who are looked at, because you use some buzzwords, you said pride, some other things, men who are looked at as societal earners, they should go out and just get it out the mud, whereas women are not under the same, they don't have to do that as much. Is that a consideration to you?
Not really. Because of my personal situation, I so do not support it at all unless necessary. Like, there are truly people who deserve spousal support and child support. I'm not saying get away with it, but there are a lot of people who take advantage of it. You know, it's an opportunity. You don't have to work. I'm not saying that's Josiah in this situation. I mean, you just said he does work.
He works.
But there are people who they work. Maybe they don't have to work as hard. Maybe this can buy themselves some time. Maybe because the argument is, you have to remember, the argument for spousal support is, I want to keep living a certain lifestyle. You know, so I don't know how much I necessarily agree with that, because this is let me say this part. Because what people lose in a divorce, right? It'd be different if I was like some big time millionaire, billionaire, you know what I mean? But I'm not. So I suffer in a divorce too. I have to take a step back, but you're still asking for things to be exactly how they were in marriage.
Interesting.
So that's the kind of thing that it's so much deeper than that. So I'm totally taking a hit because now I have a monthly expense of having, I settled, but still the settlement includes spousal support, right? I bought him out of spousal support. That you are getting a monthly expense that you're receiving, right? Thousands of dollars, where I now paid for that a month. So I am highly inconvenienced because I'm not a multimillionaire, billionaire, where you come up with it. So it's like there isn't an imbalance there, especially like if you're getting 5 figures a month, that's what you asked for, that's what you got. In a sense, I mean, the numbers aren't the same, quite what people see, but like you're getting 5 figures a month. That's more than you were getting when we were married.
So,
that's more than you were.
All right, but isn't that because though that there was something that used to happen in these relationships where a woman would be in a house with a yard and all of that stuff, and then you get divorced? Aren't they trying to make sure that somebody can't just send you back to the ghetto with food stamps?
Correct. And all of that I'm saying if you have nothing or no capable of working.
But that's why they say living the same, because they say living the same because you should not be expected, or the
But I'm not
thinking
living the
is,
same.
well, you're living in the same house.
But I'm not, I'm not going to get into the finance part of it. I'm living in the same house. I fought for it. I still have some money, but I'm not living the same way. Like, and I don't want to get into it. It's
Okay,
not
cool.
it's not the same way. And so even if I broke down what, like, okay, you were living rent-free, bill-free, it still doesn't, I wasn't paying for, food or things like that. So you're still, but that's what was included in what you said you needed.
Right.
So you're getting more
Interesting.
as opposed to, yeah, maybe you should get rent. Maybe you should get utilities because that was taken care of. That still doesn't amount to what you're saying, what you got. It's just off.
So you're looking at it as it shouldn't be a come up is basically what you're saying. It's what you say. It shouldn't
Yes,
be a come
and
up.
it is absolutely a come up. It seems like for Josiah, and definitely in my situation, it was a come up.
But you guys were whatever. I don't know anything.
No. We were married, and
Yeah.
and that's the thing. When you're married,
Everything is community.
Correct.
So you were living how he was living. He was living how you.
And
were
I would have
living.
never been like, well, like, okay, you're down now and I'm up. So these are things that happen in a marriage. And I used to always say when we were married, there could be a time when I'm down and you're up. Like I always said that. So it's like I wasn't the whole time, like bashing him for not making enough. It was like, listen, I understand this is where I am right now. I can afford to pay for everything while you're building a business. To me, that's marriage. It's a give and a take. But when it comes to a divorce, all that shit you did helping them goes against you at the end of the day. It goes against you. You know what I mean? If he was paying rent, it would have been a different argument.
Yeah. I just think after years of me being hyper liberal on this, being like, yo, man, you have to take care of women in divorce. You have to take care of child support. Like literally being the liberal. It's just hard for me to reverse course now and be like, yo, no, you shouldn't. Because a lot of...
it's just not as black and white. Family law never is. When it comes to children, when it comes to families, it's not black. You're applying black and white letter law to a very gray and messy situation. And not every situation is the same.
All right. We gave you guys a lot of podcasts. You know what, man? For the first week in a long time, we will not be having the Glaze of the Week. Glaze of the Week was Aiden Ross on Drake, calling Drake daddy. I had a whole thing about it. I will say this, though. I will give you guys this before we leave because we had two other topics we didn't get to. It's fine. We will talk about the Supreme Court formally asking to overturn same-sex marriage. We'll do that on Monday. Probably bring in a guest for that.
Oh, I don't think you need to. It's not that in depth.
It's not that in depth. Okay, cool.
It's probably not even going to be heard by the Supreme Court.
Okay, well, so
it was more talking about like it's something to pay attention to, but it doesn't mean that they're not even asking the court specifically to overturn it. It's something they tacked on at the end, and they didn't do that to the Court of Appeals. So they didn't even ask for it in the district court. Then they tacked it on at the Court of the Appeals, and it's like you can't do that. You have to ask for it consistently. It's more so her right as far as being discriminating against this couple and trying to hide behind the First Amendment as a state official, which you cannot do.
Oh, well, Rachel says no. The answer is
I
no.
don't think it's for guests.
I will say this, though. We've been doing Glaze of the Week for a long time now. Glaze of the Week is a big hit. People like it. It's a difficult segment to sponsor. People want to say, shouldn't we change the name of this? And this? No, it's Glaze. It's Glaze of the Week. It's glazing. But, I'll say something else about Glaze of the Week. About glazing, period.
Oh.
About glazing, about dick riding, about all of this stuff. The person, this is just an overall thought, the person that is being dick rode has a responsibility. And we never talk about this. You have a responsibility not to have dick
say
riders.
enough.
You do. You have a responsibility to not have dick riders around you. If you're a true person that wants to better yourself, the worst fucking thing you can have around you is a bunch of dick riders. Because sycophants that are insincere about the best parts of you are corrosive. They are people that are going to continuously tell you you look good when maybe you don't. They are people that are continuously telling you you have the best ideas when maybe you don't. There are people that are going to tell you you're funny when you're not. There are people that are going to tell you you're kind when you're mean. And those people stop you from elevating and evolving as a human being. Now, maybe if you have a lot of dick riders, you feel like you should not have to get better. You should not have to get better at whatever it is that you're doing or as a person. If your development is to a point to where you feel like I'm as good as I could possibly be, then fine, cool, whatever. Have a bunch of people around you that don't push you or offer you any criticism or make you do any self-eval at all. Do that. That's fine. That's cool. I can tell you that until you're in the grave, there is something for you to learn on this fucking earth. And people that are around you that are there because of proximity to power or wealth or fame that are not actually keeping it real with you about the things that you're doing, how you're acting, and how you're coming off for other people, they're enemies. They're just enemies with smiles. And so I'm saying that as much as we talk about glazers, we do not talk about the people that are getting glazed. When I say that dick riding is a existential threat, the people being dick rode are the dick riders are fucking gonna ruin the world, but they're being enabled by the people that are dick riding them. They are a function of insincere communication from a bunch of sycophants, and it makes them think that the wrong thing is right a lot of times, or it empowers them in such a superficial, materialistic way, nothing that's based in any form or substance, that they mutate and they think that now they can never be wrong because they're insulated by dick riders. So it's not just your responsibility not to dick ride. It's your responsibility to seek out constructive and uncomfortable criticism. And if you're not doing that, then you're actually surrendering to the dick riding, which, I mean, there are places that you want to do that. You do want to surrender, put your hands back and do the whole thing, like it's tired, you're getting older, so just let her do her thing. But other than that, when I'm talking about in your daily life, get these yes men out of your circle so you can be the best version of you for your family and for your community. If not, you're just kind of a fucking loser. So I really do think dick riding is a huge problem, but I look at somebody like President Trump and I go, why would you even like that? Why would you even like somebody around you giving you all this obviously insincere and forced praise? What kind of person wants that?
A narcissist.
I know, but at the same time, like we talk about narcissism and the power that they wield over other people. There is such weakness in narcissism. There's such weakness, profound weakness in it. Grow up, get stronger. All right, that's enough podcast. Donnie, you have anything to add before we go about splitting the rent?
No, I don't. I got nothing.
I bet you don't. Donnie, when you get divorced, who is gonna?
Jeez,
I'm gonna
rebuke
hit
that.
the stop button on this recording. We're done.
Take your thinking caps off.
Go ahead.
I love Donnie and his whole family. It's a joke.
Not Donnie saying take your thinking caps off. I've never heard him say that. He was very bothered by what you said.
Donnie's got a beautiful family. They're gonna be together forever. Okay, take your thinking caps off. Do not stop learning. I'm Van Lathan Jr.
I'm Rachel and Lindsay. Bye, guys.